All right, guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Old Boy Podcast, and we have Derek Wolfe on this week. He is a Super Bowl 50 champion with the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. He is a celebrated NFL player and a great outdoorsman. So, met Derek a couple years ago in duck camp in Arkansas. That's the one where we tell a story about, jumping in Kid Rock's private jet and going to Sarah Huckabee's inauguration event. Really, really heck of a time. We talk about great hunts. We talk a little bit about NFL football. If it's out there, Derek and I talk about it. One thing about Derek, he always has an opinion and he does not have a problem sharing it, which, hey, that's all right with me. If you like more of this discussion with Derek, he's also got his own podcast called Wolfe Untamed that you can check out. But I hope you enjoy this one. Take care.
Man, you hear that? Look at here. They're coming. They're coming. We're going to have a party.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Old Boy Podcast, and here we are again at Onyx here in Denver, Colorado, with my old boy Derek Wolfe. Derek, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's worked out great.
It did. When we were talking about coming out here, we knew we wanted to get Trevor and Justin and Luke and all the guys here from Onyx and Archie and those guys. We was like, all right, who else do we know that lives in Denver? And you and Chance were the first two I thought of and reached out to because I know both y'all live in the area and both of you guys, kind of love the same shit I do, hunting and fishing. Kind of got that blue collar background, so appreciate you joining us.
Hell yeah, man! I think it's awesome what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's dope. So
no, it's fun. I mean, we got a real problem in this country with people not wanting to go out and work and earn it anymore, and everybody wanting that immediate gratification and want to be an influencer and all that stuff. And there's some good hardworking folks out there. They just need a little direction,
Well, the other thing is even with the podcasting game, the influencing game, like that's work.
Yeah.
Hey, like I think Joe Rogan was talking about there's so many thousands of podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they only have like 5 or 6 episodes because they just give up. Because it's like, oh, if it doesn't catch on right away, they just are like, oh, we'll see. Told you it wouldn't work.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, you got to put the time in.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put the time in. You got to have, the guests that you want to have on. I'm biased because it's a little easier for me to get guests to come onto my podcast just because from the football background and stuff. But still, like it's still difficult. Like I still have to work around people's schedules and you still have to come up with good content to put out there. And, with the hunting stuff, I don't do that to like earn a living, but I love to film my hunts and share it with people.
Yep.
I still want to put out a good product, right?
Absolutely.
And that still takes work.
Mm-hmm.
Like while we're hunting, I have to also think about like, oh, let's make this like enjoyable for everybody else, and keep it real, because I don't want to have to fake anything.
No.
Like, let's make sure we're getting everything on film that we want to get on film. So I think there are a lot of people that like to work hard. They just don't have any direction.
Yep.
Like they're willing to work hard. They just don't have any direction because they're like, well, what the fuck's the point? What's the point if they're just going to hand out checks to everybody?
Right, exactly.
And people like me and you that fucking work our ass off and pay all this money into the tax pot, and they just dish it out to other countries and illegal immigrants and
I know.
I mean all this other bullshit. It's just it's sad the state of our country. That's why I'm hoping Daddy Trump gets in there and
I agree
and gets these. There's a lot of weirdos around our country, and they're the communists, honestly. The full blown communists, and. It's hard to talk about it and not sound like a dumb redneck, but at the end of the day, it's real simple. Like these motherfuckers are moving and it's like a full on invasion.
Yep.
Like they're invading. It's 15 million people
that were just
undocumented people. We don't even know who the fuck they are. And then you want to talk about do you like Sean Ryan? You ever listen?
Oh yeah,
I love his podcast, right? And he had
I think I like him because it's a very common sense approach. It's
Exactly.
very black and white. Like let's just talk facts. That's why I like it.
I love it because he asks the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you talk about how much money is being funneled to the Taliban and to Al Qaeda, we're talking $70 million a week. A fucking week, dude.
That's crazy.
We spent 20 years fighting these folks, and now we're going to send them. It just makes me mad because they cut my check in half for a whole decade.
Yeah.
I come from dirt poor fucking white trash Ohio, Northeast Ohio, south of Youngstown, right on the Ohio River.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, for you to cut my check in half,
Yep.
send it to other countries, And then, okay, you want to send it to like help, Ukraine. It's going to piss me off, but whatever.
Right.
You want to send it to help Israel. Okay, I get it. But when you're sending it to the fucking Taliban, you're just playing both sides.
Yep.
It makes me fucking crazy, dude. And it makes me worry for the state of our country and what's actually going to happen. Because if they pull the fast one on us again, like they did this last election, which, hey, everybody listening, 10 million registered or hunters. So with people that are of voting age with a hunting license, 10 million of them didn't vote in the last election.
Hunters.
That
kind of disappoints. I mean, that really disappoints.
That really disappoints me. And it's because it shows you how much people think it doesn't fucking matter if I vote, but it does matter because there's a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all very like-minded.
Exactly. So it's like, hey, you want to sit around and bitch about everything, but you don't want to get out and vote. I mean, it takes nothing at all to go vote now. You don't need your fucking ID.
And regardless, form your own opinion. Your opinion does not have to be our opinion.
No,
you know what I mean?
Just do it.
But at least be involved.
Yeah, because if not, you're asking to be led by morons. You are, and that's what's happened.
Yeah, I look at it. Every vote we don't have for Trump is a vote for the other side. Because we obviously need. We're going to need every one.
Well, I was talking to a good friend. His name's John Wayne. He's a Silver Star recipient. And he was a special forces guy, and he was the first amputee to go through Green Beret sniper school and make it through.
Oh shit!
He's a badass, and he's strong in his faith. And I've never been real strong in my faith. I just always, I was just, kind of spiritual, but not really, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But as of lately, I was talking to him. I was like, listen, dude, like that Trump not getting shot, him moving his head at the last second, and just that was divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And then listening to, other stories and then thinking back on myself, like how stupid am I or how ignorant am I to think that like everything I've done and overcome and the bullets I've dodged, the hypothetical bullets that I've dodged, as far as like not getting arrested for some dumb shit I did, or, not getting a DUI for drinking and driving, or not get, all kinds of shit that could have put the train to a stop real quick before it even got going. I was paralyzed in 2013. That could have stopped it.
Yep.
All these things where God's hands were involved. And I was just like, I was sitting around the other day and I was like, man, like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's clear. It's so clear right now that this is a good versus evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it really is. And if you look at how they're mocking God and Jesus Christ, and it's, even if you don't believe that Jesus Christ is a son of God, you should, you still should believe in some type of God.
And have respect for other people's beliefs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like, that's just so disrespectful. Could you imagine the uproar if they were mocking the false prophet Allah?
Yep.
Could you imagine?
Oh yeah.
They would be an absolute uproar, and they'd be trying to blow up Paris right now, which is already a nightmare over there. They're just like letting people, it's just, we can go into that all day, man. It's just, I just really am worried about what's going to happen here if we don't get this man into office, because, at the end of the day, this guy's a billionaire. He should be hanging out on Conor McGregor said it. He should be hanging out on a yacht somewhere, somewhere tropical or somewhere, he should be just playing golf every day or not worried about all this shit. Instead, he's think about the attack that's been, coming at him.
Oh yeah.
They tried to attack his bank accounts. They've tried to attack his character. They've tried to put him in jail. They've done all these things and lied on his name, which is funny because before that, they were all wanting to take pictures with him.
Oh yeah.
And giving him awards and this and that and kissing his ass. But now, since he doesn't agree with their bullshit and won't play the game, which is their religion, there is religion involved, but their religion is like transgenderism. And it's a really just all communism, because they don't want any free will. They want the government to be the last direct. That's where the buck stops, is with the government. The government decides what's best for you. Yeah. Give us all your money and we will disperse it so that when they talk about equity and fairness and all this other bullshit, there should be fairness and equity when it comes to like opportunity, but outcome, there's no equity in outcome.
Yep.
Like you get what you put into it. And sometimes the shit doesn't happen for you. Like sometimes people work, I've seen it in football all the time. Guys that were just like grinded and worked their ass off and did everything the right way. They just weren't good enough.
And that's why we have
people that excel at this, people that excel at that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's the reason you were a badass defensive NFL player. The reason I could cook pretty good barbecue. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody has to win.
No, not everybody's going to
They're
win.
not going to.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's how it's called competition. Like it's called, you know, and I really am a strong believer in like evolution, like the strongest and the cream of the crop should rise.
Mhm.
And if you take away that, that's going against everything that nature it stands for, right? Like everything that God put on earth was to make sure that the best rose to the top, right?
Absolutely.
That's why you don't see a bunch of Neanderthals walking around.
Yep.
Because we whipped their ass and took them.
Yeah.
We took everything that they had and was like, hey, you know, fuck off, basically. We're like, we just evolved better than them. And I'm afraid of what like we're evolving into now. And I think it's all because of the kind of foods and shit that we're eating, right?
Mhm.
You look at these kids now and they're just like so obese and like they have like these, you know, these 17, 18-year-old kids that have like no testosterone. They're all just like, yeah, you know, like they're just like,
But eating processed food.
yeah, they eat bullshit processed foods, low T. Like they've been taught that masculinity is bad. And they've also been taught that, you know, turn on the TV. Every show you watch, it like within the first like 3-4 minutes, it shows you a family that's like non-traditional.
Mhm.
Well, I don't believe in that. I think that, you know, I believe in the traditional home. I didn't come from that. I wish I would have.
Sure.
But I know that
You want your kids to see that because you feel like that's the best
It's the
environment
best
for them
environment.
to be productive.
Exactly.
Young people.
and teach them morals and values and like that you don't just give up whenever things get tough, you know, like things get hard and tough and you just keep fighting through and you make the best of every situation. And that's the fact that they're trying to destroy and tear apart the fabric of what makes this country great is that we have that family
Values,
core values of the family, right? Like it's like when you're talking about, you know, down in like Louisiana and when they were talking about putting the 10 Commandments back into the school and teaching that, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with teaching people that it's not okay to murder? It's not okay to steal. It's not okay to adulterer. It's not okay. Like, what's wrong with teaching that? I don't see anything wrong with teaching anybody that, regardless of your religion. That's like a good way to live. Good. Everybody knows right from wrong, right? You can go to any non-traditional area, go to like the Amazon and find one of them random tribes, right? Yep. I guarantee that the thieves are going to steal at night so nobody can see them because they know it's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. They know right from wrong. Everybody is born with that right from wrong. And I wasn't taught shit as a kid from my parents, but I knew right from wrong. Like that's just like in you.
Yeah.
You know, you just know right from wrong. It's whether or not your morals are like, oh, you know what? I don't care if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what it comes down to. And that's what's happening is we're just being fed all this manipulative bullshit that.
Well, you're not willing to take
tolerance
and at least say, hey, there's also, you know, I feel like I look at it really, really simple as, you know, there's a certain way that I want to live and I don't really care how, like, if you want to live a certain way and that makes you happy and that's your family and what makes you awesome, that's awesome. I want to support that. Just don't give me also that same respect, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it's so simple, but if we just kept it that simple, life could be a lot easier.
Life could be a way easier.
Yeah.
The problem, Chad, the problem is they want us to live in their delusion.
Right.
Right. They want us to trust the science whenever it makes sense for them. But science says that there's two genders. But I'm supposed to live in your delusion where you're a dude with a beard and I'm supposed to call you ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hold on a minute. Like I'm whenever they get to pick and choose what's true and what's not true, that's when you know they're like, that's full on communism.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And it's manipulation. I think it's like a whole deeper thing with the deep state and this whole globalism thing where they want one global economy, one global role, they want it to be under one roof. I don't like that.
I don't either.
I'm a red-blooded American. And I think we live in the greatest country in the world, and I don't want to live like China.
Yep.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to live like under Xi Jinping. Like I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be like worried that, you know, they're taking videos of my gait, how I walk, and they can track me on that. Like I don't like that. There's no freedom there. And people are like, whoa, what do you have to hide? It doesn't. I'm not hiding shit. I'm an American. It's in my blood to be free.
Yep.
We are the freest. We're the last one.
Yep.
We're the last ones.
And when you look at the globalization, I mean, we do have the most to lose out of anybody. So
Yeah.
why? I mean, it's like, why would you trade down? If you got the number one overall pick, why are you trading down to 6? Just even.
Yeah. I need a quarterback. We have a really good quarterback in this draft. But you know what, man? Like, I really feel bad for, Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're, I'm going to give them this pick so they can have a good Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, you sucked last year, and now you need a quarterback, and there's a good quarterback. You're taking that quarterback.
Absolutely.
You're not going to trade that pick away.
Yep.
Just because, you feel bad for somebody else, right? Or something. Oh, it's not fair. Like, no, well, fuck off.
Speaking of that, and kind of talking about, you're a big locker room guy. I mean, and you got to play in a pretty awesome locker room. Von, Elvis, like, geez, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Caleb Williams has all the talent in the world. Would you have taken him with the number one pick in the draft? Do you really think he's a locker room kind of guy?
I wouldn't have taken him. Just here's the problem though, is that he kind of this new generation of guys, they come from this NIL stuff, right? Where they're getting paid. Like we were all, you know the Pounceys, right?
Oh yeah.
You're boys too. Those are my boys. And we always talked about like, man, could you imagine if we were getting paid like that? Like, oh, it would have been out of control.
On that Gators team that they were on, holy smokes. They've been raking in the money.
Hundreds of millions to have that team, right? I think that the generation now is like, if they don't like the way something's happening, they can just transfer.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
They don't have to tough it out.
We didn't have that. We didn't have the transfer portal. If you transferred, your ass is going to sit out a whole year.
Yep.
And a lot can happen in a year.
Yeah.
A lot.
And it was kind of like a scarlet letter. Like you weren't willing to stay. It was a locker room problem or grades, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You didn't really want to transfer unless it was like a grad school transfer. You know what I mean? Like,
well, think about it this way, right? So my first 2 years at Cincinnati, we went to an Orange Bowl and a Sugar Bowl. And that's where I met the Pounceys because we played against each other in that Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
And we became boys ever since then because they had like a ton of respect for the type of player I was as a sophomore. And then Brian Kelly leaves. So now we got Butch Jones comes in. We win fucking 4 games.
Yep.
You think I didn't want to transfer?
For sure.
Like, you think I wasn't like, man, I want to get the fuck out of here. But you know why I didn't? Because my boys were there.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
Those were my boys,
Yeah.
And we were like, dude, we're in it together. Like, let's go. And then we turned it around, made it back to a bowl game and got ourselves ranked in the top 15 again. And
y'all persevered.
Yeah.
You persevered.
Yeah. But it sucked. We had to go through that suck. And I don't think that I think what's happened is that like a guy like Caleb Williams who's like, you see it, look at these quarterbacks. I like it because I like the transfer portal because there are, like I was talking to Burrow about it. He was like, I was like, how'd you feel about like transfer? He's like, dude, I was sitting in this quarterback room and the guys that were in there are all like first round picks. And I'm like, I didn't see a path to getting on the field even ever, not even in his senior year. He would never gone on the field. So he transfers and it works out. You know what I mean?
Oh, one of the best.
I love that you can do that. I think that there should be stipulations on it though. It's like, hey, if there's not a clear path, it can't be just because, this coach doesn't like me, or if there's a coach that leaves and that system doesn't work for you anymore, you should be allowed to transfer. But there's like, it's just like anything. There's pros and cons to everything. So, you can nitpick it apart, but it is great for the guys. They can transfer out now.
Yep.
But it also has created this like sense of entitlement. They feel entitled that they're like, their shit doesn't stink. They should get their ass licked. And you got these quarterbacks in the league now that haven't even won a Super Bowl and they're getting $200 million contracts. Bro, what the fuck? Like, dude, you're talking about guys that haven't really done anything yet and they're getting 200. And that shows you how important that position is.
Well, I mean, we were sitting there, we were going to dinner the other night and we podcasted all day, really hadn't paid attention to any news. So I usually have that time ESPN's first thing I pull up. And so I'm like, is this right? Jordan Love, 4 years, $220 million?
Dude.
After one, maybe above that. I mean, he had a good back half of the year last year, but geez, man, those kind of keys.
He hasn't done anything. He hasn't even won a playoff game. Yeah, really.
Wow.
It is crazy, but that's the world, that's the game that it's become, man. It's like, if you don't have a quarterback, And take it from somebody who had Peyton Manning for 4 years.
Yeah.
And we were in the running to win a Super Bowl, #1 seed in the AFC West, #1 seed in the AFC actually for 4 years. And then he's gone. Dude, the shit got real bad. We still had the #1 defense and we went 9-7, you know what I mean? And didn't make the playoffs. So it shows you how important even like a banged up old Peyton Manning, how important that was, you know, for a team. But it can't be just on talent alone.
Yeah.
They have to be a good leader as well. And that's what worries me about Caleb Williams is I think he's a quitter.
Yeah.
If he was so great, why didn't USC do shit? They did nothing.
Right.
Like they didn't win anything.
Yeah.
So
and he had weapons. Can't say they didn't have
well,
weapons.
it's USC. They're going to get some of the best players in the country are going to go to USC just because it's USC. It's the biggest, like you talk about NIL, like it has the biggest market you can, you know, between there and Newark. But LA college football, USC, like, dude, that is the biggest market for NIL there is.
I know.
So what he's getting the best possible recruits to help him out, and they still didn't do shit.
Nope.
So I think that it's, you know, this stuff starts when they're like really young too. They start these kids out like they're freshman year of high school, you know, like look at Arch Manning. Like,
oh, that buzz, man. When
you know, he's in 8th grade and they're like, oh, he's going to be a first round pick. And it's like, what?
Let him get a Pee-wee title under his belt.
Dude, we had a kid in 8th grade that carried a whole defense down the field one time. That kid, he never did shit. You know, like you don't know how good they're going to be. And you know, he's a Manning, so he's going to end up being good, you know, just because it's in their blood. And he's Cooper's son. Cooper was like, Peyton will tell you, Cooper was the best athlete of them all.
Yeah.
You know, so you know he's going to be a good athlete, but you know, it's just crazy. Like these guys are making like $6 million a year in NIL. You know, he's at Texas making, you know, $6 million a year.
And Urs and Cam is too. They got 2 quarterbacks making that much NIL on the same roster.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it blows my mind. My oldest daughter, she's 17, and she did a visit down there, and I was like, she didn't even like care to go walk by the football facility, but somebody had told me that they went by the football facility and they had like Lamborghinis and shit. These guys are driving like Lamborghini. Dude, I was driving the most piece of shit, beat to hell vehicle ever. Like just absolute shit vehicles, you know, just like hand me down shits that I could find for a couple $100, you know, just to get by. No insurance, just fucking, just trying to do what I could.
Proud sponsor of the show, Welder Nation. Man, I will tell you what, if you are looking for apparel that is built for that trade, this is made for the 0.1%ers. Those folks out there putting apparel to the test, working some of the most dangerous jobs in some of the most dangerous places. The last thing you can have is faulty gear, faulty apparel. Go check out weldernation.com. Feel free to use my discount code OldBoyPodcast for 15% off.
You know, you mentioned you know, Cincinnati, and you think about that team, you know, and you being friends with Jason and Travis. What's it been like watching those guys' journey, man?
Oh, it's crazy, man. It you know, Jason was like he was a walk-on linebacker.
Yeah.
You know, started gaining weight and they moved him to offensive line, and he was just like he's a freaky athlete, like really freaky athlete. And, you know, and then he ends up getting drafted, and then I knew it was going to be great, you know, I just knew it, you know, I was like, this guy's going to be good. They moved him to center and it was like perfect for him. That was like a perfect position for him. So I knew it was going to.
A lot of people don't realize how smart a good center is. And we talk about a good quarterback, but a good, smart center.
He is. And people think Jason's like a big, dumb, you know, jock because he's like shirtless, pounding beers and stuff like, you know what I mean? But he is like, this dude is one of the most intelligent humans I've ever spent time with. Like he is very intelligent. He's like, anybody that can play the guitar and play instruments, I think has like a different level of IQ, and he's there. Like he likes to read. He likes to, you know, he can make his own music. He's very smart. So he can read a defense and understands like what they're trying to do and understands how to like find other ways to, you know, there's not a perfect way to do one thing. He's not a robot, you know? So he's just an incredible guy. And then you talk about Travis. So Travis was a quarterback. Yeah. Right. And Travis was it's like the opposite of Jason. Jason wasn't highly recruited. Travis was a three sport athlete, like a three sport Division I athlete. So football, basketball, or baseball. He could have played all three. Jeez. And he decided to come to Cincinnati. We met when we were 17. You know, we were down on our official visit and been friends ever since. He's just one of the greatest type of guys, ever. He's awesome, dude. But at the end of the day, he was not a good quarterback. Yeah, it just wasn't a good quarterback. So they tried to move him all over the place. And then eventually found like tight end was perfect for him.
Oh yeah.
Because he can use at tight end, you can use your like basketball skills as a tight end. Like it is very much like a, create angles and get open and be physical and stuff like that. And he just found his niche, man. And he is just one of the cleanest, most ridiculous route runners there are for his size.
Well, I just feel like there's guys, like, if you look at, like, I feel like from my age at 47, like, I've truly got to live the whole evolution of the tight end, right? I'm old enough that I saw a little bit of Kellen Winslow, and then you start thinking about, like, so after that, then you got Shockey. Kellen Winslow, I mean, he kind of created, like, he was 1 in a million, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that big body and a guy that could go out and then.
Well, Ozzie Newsome was like that too. Yes, They were like very few and far in between. And now you're seeing like,
they're getting built.
Built. Like guys are being like, instead of playing,
you got your side.
Well, they would take a guy that was like that. Like Travis is like my height, you know what I mean? But he's like 200. He's like 50 pounds lighter than me.
Smaller frame,
a little smaller frame. But they would have taken a guy like him and been like, oh, we're going to turn him into a left tackle. Instead, they're like, hey, he's a crazy athlete. Let's put him at tight end and throw the ball to him. And it's because it's the way that the game has evolved from this, like, wing tee, drive it down, punch him in the face. That's why, like, the fullback position, it's kind of they've moved away from that position, because it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, it's crazy from playing in the AFC West and then going up to Baltimore and playing the AFC North. They still had that mentality up there.
Yeah.
Of like, we're going to run power at you, double teams, like establish the run. And I was like, all, I love that kind of game. Let's go, So that's the difference, right? You got all these D linemen are being built and made for like stopping the run. And then when teams are like, you know what, we're going to spread them out, make them run.
Yep.
That's like, oh shit, so that's why you have to be so versatile in your game. You have to be able to do everything.
No, it's a very good point.
And it's pretty. The kids are getting like so crazy athletic and big, and because they're starting so young. Yeah, we don't really fucking specialize. Kidding me? My high school strength coach was a damn garbage man, but he was like, "We're gonna fucking squat and we're gonna run gassers." I was like, "All right."
So our old weightlifting coach he was all about the pyramid, right?
Yeah,
and it was all about, boys, as long as you big press. You overhead press, you do squats. You'll get big, you'll get strong. We don't need nothing beach muscles. We're trying to move merit.
Yeah, we don't care if we're not trying to look good. We're trying to be strong as shit. And I was already strong in high school. So when I went to college and had like a real strength coach, like put it all together, it was like, oh shit.
Well, what I think is interesting is that step right there. Like, I was fortunate enough when I was a 10th grader, Ray Lewis was a 12th grader.
Yeah.
So I watched, and Ray was a man amongst boys in high school, obviously. Like, he ran back kicks. He also kicked off kicks, also punted, ran back punts, linebacker, running back. Never came off the field. But I remember him coming back after that first semester at Miami. And he was like 20 more pounds of jacked. And I'm like, bro, what's up? He's like, dude, I never knew about no nutrition program. Like, whatever was in the fridge, I got to eat. If they're in the fridge, I didn't get to eat, but I still had to work out or coach got his foot up my ass. He's like, now, like, a training table, like, and they got food for me. I take food with me to my. He's like,
oh, it was phenomenal. That was the best thing about college, because it was in high school, man. It was just like whatever you could get.
Travel.
Yeah, especially me. I was living with a bunch of different people all the time. It was just like whatever you can get, whatever leftovers they had, that's what I was eating. So it really is like once you get on like a diet is mostly it.
Yeah.
Right. If you could stay on a good diet, because I've seen guys eat themselves right out of the league.
Sure.
Like they just can't control their eating and they gain too much weight and they can't keep it off. And then next thing you know, dude, they're 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And they can't play at that weight.
No, and it's just crushing their joints too.
Yeah, it just crushes them. It happened to a lot of guys. I've seen it happen to a lot of guys where they just ate themselves out of the league.
Yeah. When you come in, second round pick, 36 overall to the Broncos, 2012. How much? And you came right in, making an impact. You know what I mean? Just great start. Do you think it helped? What I know it had you. What level of assistance is it having someone like Vaughn that ends up becoming a dear friend, and then guys like Elvis playing next to them and just being able to like, I feel like your learning curve, I mean, even though you're already a great player, second rounder, but that learning curve of that jumping to the next level had to be so shortened for you.
It was, first of all, when I first showed up, I was third string. Like nothing was given to me. I'd take that job. You know what I mean? I did. And I just made it like somebody told me, right when I got there, was like, hey, nothing's given to you here, bro. You got to take everything. Everything is earned. Like this is the NFL. Everybody's good. Nobody is going to give you a spot. Like, so there's two guys way ahead of me that were older and, established and had already played in games. And I just outplayed them and made it so that they had no choice but to start me. And I earned the respect of the guys on that defense, which would have been Champ Bailey, Elvis Dumerville, Ty Warren, Justin Bannon, Vaughn. Vaughn was that was his second year in the league, so he was still like a young guy. You know what I mean? So we were like the two young guys. Chris Harris Jr. was on that defense. I mean, just a ton of dudes that had played a lot of football. DJ Williams, Dog. I earned their respect. Early and did it. I still did all my rookie duties, but I was still out there making plays and I knew my job and I did my fucking job. And there was no ifs, ands, or what's about it. Like, I'm just going to go do my fucking job, and that's what it was about. I wasn't going to complain about it. If I got stuck out there too long on the field, I wasn't going to complain about it. I was just going to get it done. And I was always in shape and I always ran my ass to the ball. Like, that's how I was. So earning their respect, like especially Elvis, man, that dude was like the best type of mentor you could ever have. He just was like, Wolfie, you gotta like, hey, after practice, come on, let's go lift. So we would go get another lift in, so it was essential to have like that was the other thing. Guys told me, hey, when you get to that locker room, find the guy that does everything right and do what they do. And that's what I did. I found Elvis. I just did what he did.
I think Champ had to be a good locker room guy too.
Awesome. Unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I mean, going back into that was a fun team. And then, I mean, you look at the offensive side of the ball with Peyton and, that whole group. I mean, that was, what a time.
Oh yeah, dude. Peyton Manning. Are you kidding me? Yeah. We're still friends. It's crazy to think that, cause I just never imagined I'd get to play with a guy like that. And
I think too, there's always something kind of neat to watch. And you've done a good job with this too, is someone that can be successful and be a champion at something and then use that to go chase other passions and be successful in it. Like you've done with hunting, like Peyton's done with being an entrepreneur and, media networks and things like that he wants to be successful in. I think it shows a champion's mindset can be applied anywhere to anything.
Oh yeah.
In life. But I do think, and that's kind of,
well, look what you did. You played high school football.
Yeah.
You took that, that same team mentality, like no quit mentality and moved it to something else.
Yep. That's a very good point.
You got like this post-nasal drip going.
There we go.
It's hot as hell in here too.
It is. Talking about the hunting a little bit, that's where me and you got to hang out a touch. Or really kind of get to know each other out at duck camp.
Stuck guard.
Dude, what a hell of that's the most epic duck camp story ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to jump on a plane and go to Sarah Huckabee's inauguration with Kid Rock.
In a bunch of banded duck gear.
Dude, we looked so out of place. First of all, Bob was using me as security the whole time. We just showed up to this like black tie event.
Oh my God.
Looking like the biggest rednecks ever, but they welcomed us with they were so excited for us to be there.
You started hearing people just because I remember it was funny. I like telling this part of the story where, remember when we all got out of the SUVs and they're going to pull us around back and Bobby's like, no, I think the boys want to go through the front.
Yeah.
And so we go around to the front and Bobby did go through the back. The rest of us go around to the front and everybody's in all these black ties and, and ball gowns and this and that. And here we are just like the most redneck group walking through. But everybody was so excited, like, well, Kid Rock must be here. That must be
that must be Kid Rock's crew. I just knew.
Oh, that was such a fun night. And then we get fogged in and remember the state trip?
We had to drive back. It was funny because in the car, Bob was like, hey, we should stop and get something to drink. I was like, let's get a bottle of tequila. So we just started hammering his bottle of tequila, playing like old school Kid Rock songs and just jamming out to that shit. It was so much fun, man. We had a blast. Duck hunting is just unbelievable down there anyways.
Camaraderie too, man.
Yeah.
The way the parties do it, like that blind, like everything's just first class.
Oh, it's unreal.
We eat well, we shoot well, we have great camaraderie. Everybody puts their phones down, just enjoys the hang. You know what I mean? Like, there's been so many good friendships come out of that camp. We're so fortunate for the parties to, you know, kind of always tend to let us, you know, come down and have a weekend of fun, you know?
I mean, what an awesome family. You know, just great dudes, great people all the way around.
But I think that's one of the things too, that like, you know, why, you know, I don't hunt nearly as much as you. I can't just get as many in because of my schedule and this and that, but man, I love the hunting community. And I just love the hunting people. Like,
you know, it's just like any community. There's, you know, there's a lot of douchebags too, but and a lot of like, you know, fake influencers and all this other bullshit. But whatever, you know, you're gonna get that in every industry. You know, I'm sure it's the same in the barbecue game. You got a lot of posers and phonies that act like they're this and that. That's the one thing I never wanted to act like I was something I wasn't. Like, yeah, dude, I'm not like I'm not gonna go solo over the counter elk hunting. Sorry. Work too hard to do that bullshit. You know, like I'm not doing it. I'm gonna go places where I have the best opportunity. I'm not gonna go somewhere where it's like, oh, just walk out and shoot them. I still want to work. But I'm not gonna go over the counter bullshit hunting. I'm just not gonna do it. I want to actually harvest something. You know, the learning curve there and over the counter is too, you know, I need years to figure that out, you know? So
it's one of those
I never
things
tried to act like
on.
I never tried to act like I was somebody. I don't try to be somebody I'm not, right? Like I go with people that know what the fuck they're doing and they teach me and I take that knowledge and I apply it to the next one. And that's why I go with guys like Aaron Snyder, you know, and Jason Matzinger. I mean, the guys that I've got to hunt with have you know, they know what they're doing. So I just take all that knowledge and apply it to my game, and eventually I'll be able to go out there by myself and do it.
And then you're sharing it with somebody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And the people are willing, if you're willing to put in the time and learn, they're willing to put in the time to teach. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I look at guys that do it really well, like, you know, John Dudley, Cameron Haynes, like those guys have really changed hunters' lives because, you know, because they want to, and they've got the reps and they've got the talent to share.
Yeah. Cam has just like changed the game completely, you know, because there is this whole fitness and hunting, like it's kind of come together. And he's done that very successfully. And really what it is if you're going to go elk hunt with a bow or I don't care what you take, if you're going to be hiking, your ass better be in shape. Because you're going to learn real quick.
Because this ain't no Stairmaster either. This is all just easy progression.
I know you're walking on rocks that move. You know, you're going straight up a mountain. And then when you get to the top, oh, they're all the way over there. Now I got to go down and back up again, you know? And I was trying to tell people like, you know, I went on this mountain lion hunt. Remember I killed that giant mountain edge and that hunt was rough, dude. It sucked. It was like 2 feet of fresh snow and it was high altitude and it was up and down, like straight up and down. And I went up and down and crawled up like in chest deep snow for like another mile and then climbed all the way back up to the top and dropped back down onto the road accidentally because I just was sliding down the mountain. And I was like, well, I'm going to miss my mark. So I might as well just go to the road and start over. Went all the way to the road and had to climb 900 yards straight up to that line. And it took like 6 hours and it sucked. I was full body cramping. And it's like, if I wasn't in the type of shape I was in, I would have never been able to make it. Would have never made it because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, my buddy that had the dogs, he was way ahead of me. So he knows what the hell he's doing. He knows how to like maneuver through that shit. Me, I'm just muscling through everything, you know, just like
brawn over brains.
Exactly. I've been like that my whole life, you know, like, oh, if I can't just muscle through it, then, you know, I'm probably not going to make it. You know, it's like, you know, but he just like knows how to maneuver and knows like, oh, I'm just going to side hill me. I'm like, I'm going straight up, you know? So I go straight up the mountain, which is miserable. And then I dropped in and like I said, I dropped down in the wrong spot. So I had to climb back up, but made it, man. And it happened. But if I wasn't in shape, like I wasn't breathing hard, but my body was like,
yes,
dude, you need some water or some food or something. Like you're sweating, you're using your muscles, like your hamstrings and my quads and my core was cramping. It was rough, man. It was a tough hunt. Like I've been through some tough training camps, but that was one of the toughest. Like I had to like really be like, you know what, put that inner bitch away. Nope, we're not going to quit.
Speaking of being around that time, what was the one thing you missed the most from training camp? And the one thing where you're like, hell yeah, I got to do that shit.
Yeah. You know, I miss the camaraderie.
Yeah.
But I get that in a hunt camp, you know, but I do miss the camaraderie. What I don't miss is like I don't miss being treated like a child.
Yeah.
They treat you like a child in football, like even at the pro level, like you're treated like a bad teenager. It means constant
Taping the door and all that.
It's like, dude, I understood that when I was like 23, 24. But once I got married and had kids and everything, I was like, dude, like, I don't need to be locked up in some damn hotel. Like, I live right down the road. Let me go home, see my kids and my wife, and then come back fresh tomorrow, you
There
know?
were a couple airs in the backyard.
Yeah, like let me shoot my bow a little bit. Like, let me like get
Decompress.
decompress from the game. You're like stuck in it and it wears you down. And you get done with training camp and then you got a whole season to go still.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, like you're taking the fun out of this shit, you know, because this training camp was just so, they're like, oh, we got to get you calloused. It's like, fuck, dude, if you're not calloused by now, you're fucked, bud. Like I remember a coach telling me that in my 9th season, like, I got to get you calloused. I'm like, dude, I'm plenty calloused, bud. Like,
I wore gardening gloves in a decade.
Yeah.
buddy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm calloused.
You know, that's an interesting point. I've asked a couple athletes about this just in like general discussion. Is, you know, you're obviously playing at a certain level. Like you're doing something that very few people in the world can do. You know, and then you have one of those like nagging injuries, right? Like it happens. They think it's better. Like it has to be one of the most frustrating things to play through, right?
It is. You know, it's very frustrating. I dealt with it with my neck for a couple of years where it was just, you know, I bruised my spinal cord in 2013 and then bounced back from it. Everything was good. And then I tore all the facets in my neck. I got face masked real bad and it tore all the tendons in the neck were torn.
My gosh.
But I just was like, I don't have time for this shit. I got to keep going, you know? And I kept playing through it and everything was good. And then next thing you know, my arm was atrophying, my right arm. Wow. So it was like I was only getting like 30% usage out of my right arm. And I was still playing at a high level. So I was like, all right, well, let's get this fixed. And we got it fixed and then boom, bounced back from it. And it was like, everything was good. And then what's really crushing is when you like bounce back from all this shit. And then you're like, so in 2019, I was having the best season of my career. Like I was leading the team in sacks. I was balling and we were playing against the Chargers. I had 2 sacks in that game already. And on a dead play where half the offense line jumped off sides, I like slipped and fell and was like, shit. And I was trying to get off the ground and our nose guard just ran straight into me and my elbow dislocated all the way to the ground.
Oh my God.
And it was a contract year. And that like crushed my soul because I had just had a baby, right? And having a baby drudged up all this, like a baby girl, having a baby girl drudged up all this shit from my childhood that I was like, how can you treat your fucking son like that? Like after having a daughter, I thought I had like dealt with all that shit, but I just didn't, you know? So I really struggled, you know, with that mental health side of it, but I like persevered through that and like found some light at the end and was playing great football and my marriage was going good. Everything was going good and everything was going according to plan. I was about to get another big ass check.
Yep.
And
take care of this new baby.
Yep.
And make sure she's set up.
Yeah. And next thing you know, fucking God has other plans. And maybe it was because God knew if I had that kind of money, I'd be doing some stupid shit or something, you know, maybe, I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe he was like, hey, be patient. Like you're going to get there. You don't need it right now.
Yeah.
But I was already, you know, cause I'd already hadn't made enough to live forever. Like, I didn't, to live the way I want to live. I made enough, that kind of money. So was I being greedy? Was I, you know, but at the end of the day, I was like, I put the work in, like, this is bullshit, you know? And then COVID happened and I couldn't get any teams to look at me because they were worried about, you know, they couldn't get the doctors to see me. And they were worried about my arm. They're like, oh, he's, you know, 30 years old, this and that. So my wife was like, hey, just post a video of you working out. I was like, all right. So I posted a video of me with 160-pound dumbbells, just like, you know, just knocking it out, you know? And she was, next day, Houston called. The day after that, Baltimore called. And it wasn't the kind of money that I deserved, but it was, you know, an opportunity. Yeah. So I showed up and they gave me like a little 1-year deal and we're like, just, you know, prove yourself and we'll keep you here. And I came out and again, number one run stuffer in the league again. And it was a COVID. There was one point we played 3 games in 12 days and I was playing 65 snaps a game at defensive line in the AFC North. Yeah. And you're taking a beat down and it's COVID, so you don't have the access to the same like recovery that you would normally have, right? And then because of that, it took such a beating on my body. They signed me to they gave me some more money. And then that next season, I tore both hip labrums off the bone.
Oof.
Never had a hip issue in my life, and just ripped them both off the bone. And that was like, I was getting concussions a little too easy, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should call it.
Yeah.
And then I talked to the doctor, and he's like, dude, I can fix these hips, but I can't help your brain.
Yeah.
He's like, you need to take care of your brain. He's like, your hips are going to be fine, but your brain is not going to be fine. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call it. So 10 years to me,
That's a hell of a career.
was a plenty.
And that's why y'all get on all the pension, right? Your
Oh,
your
fuck
max
yeah.
for whatever pension wise.
Oh, dude, I'm pension, line of duty. I'm good.
Do you think we don't talk about the concussion and mental health and aspect of it enough? I mean, me and Justin were talking about it a little bit yesterday, and he was saying, everybody worries about us. He's like, but like, you've got, 15 or 25 minutes of like that kind of combat. And then us guys that we're taking 3 to 6 months, depending on how bad it is. Like football guys, those are mini car wrecks every 90 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Times 60 minutes. He's like, it's
Every 20, it's 25 seconds in between plays.
Yeah.
And you got to think, I'm putting my hand in the dirt, and there's 2 350-pound dudes that are going to try to move me.
Yep.
And we're going to hit heads first.
Yep.
And then you're going to try to split that, and then here comes Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And then you're going to jump up and be like, and then I'm supposed to go home and be normal. Fuck, kidding me? It's like, and that's why, and Justin's right, man. And it's not just in the game.
Mhm.
You're doing that shit every day in practice.
Yeah.
Because if you get your ass whipped in practice, you're going to lose your job. That's where you're judged. Everything is judged on practice. Like, you practice like you play. So you're getting your ass whipped all week too. And when I say that, I'm whipping someone's ass every day. Like that's like, I don't care who you are, because these scout team guys, they come in, they're trying to keep their job. They're hungry as hell. These young ass dudes come in there, like they're hungry. So like, you can't expect anybody to like, I would get after their ass because I'd be like, hey dude, it's fucking Friday. Like relax. I got a game on Sunday. Your ass is going to be sitting at home. So, we would get into it and shit. But like at the end of the day, I want them to go hard, because when I get to the game, I don't want it to be a fucking surprise.
Right. You want to be going at the same speed.
Yeah.
That's what you've been prepping that all week.
You're going full pads Wednesday and Thursday. Like,
Yeah.
and then you get Friday. That's like fast Friday, where you're just in helmets but you're still banging. Yeah. Like there's still impact on your body, and you're still getting jerked around and all this shit, and then you get to Saturdays, like walk through, and then Sunday comes and boom, you're out there again, and let's go, and it was, dude, it just like, it wears on you. And I noticed it, especially when it wasn't happening more, like, when I wasn't like constantly getting my head hit, I started noticing that like the effects that had on me.
Mhm.
And I was like, crazy anxiety for no reason. Just like, I try to tell them like, dude, I have if you would have told me when I was like 15, 16 and showed me like a snapshot of where my life is now, I'd have signed that contract right away.
Yep.
Like, hell yeah, that's perfect. But somehow I find these days where I'm just like stuck in mud. It's like I'm stuck in mud, and I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Well, yeah, I have everything to be happy about.
Yeah, why do I feel this way? And it's because the frontal lobe is all of your functioning, like all of your what do you call it? Your neurocognitive like functioning is all coming from that frontal lobe. And so I was like, let me go get this checked out. Oh, what do you know? Yeah, it's definitely fucked up, bud. They're like, yeah, you're fucked. They're like, you're like, but there's ways to like counteract this. That's when, I was already microdosing mushrooms, and I think that helped me a lot. But when they showed me like, hey, we can do this thing called brain mapping, and there's, really what it is you have to, I don't drink very much anymore, because I think that also affects it.
Yep.
And now it's getting easier. Now it's like when I do feel those thoughts, I don't like, because what would happen is I'd get mad that I was even feeling that way. So now I'm pissed off. I'm depressed. I have crazy anxiety. I'm like sitting around anxious, don't know what the fuck to do with myself.
Yep.
And then I found that like, if you could just like embrace that, be like, okay, I'm feeling this way. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's like not gonna,
Tomorrow will be better.
yeah, tomorrow will be better. 10 minutes from now will be better. Just breathe, just chill out. It's all right. think about the thing and be grateful. Gratitude is huge.
Yeah.
So finding things to be grateful for, it could be something simple, man. But I always find myself every day being thankful that I have healthy kids, because I think I get like super emotional thinking about like, what if something happened to my daughter? Like, or what if I did something stupid to myself and hurt myself? What would that do to my daughter?
Exactly.
Like I gotta be here for them.
Exactly.
So that, or my wife too, like she would be devastated if, I did some, like, how selfish to think that way, you know? So it's really just about, if you play a contact sport, I mean, soccer players deal with the same shit because they're taking headers all the time.
Yep.
A soccer ball is going to move the brain just as much as it doesn't matter. Moving the brain is moving the brain.
Yep.
And shutting off the signals and shit, like it's all electrical.
Synapses,
yeah. So once you can, that's why microdosing is so awesome to me.
Proud sponsor of the show, Trollco Clothing. Love what the brand's about. It's all about supporting that blue collar worker. You know them for their trademark shirt and hat, dirty hands, clean money. It's not just a slogan, it is a lifestyle. Go visit trollcoclothing.com and use my discount code OldBoyPodcast for 15% off.
I started doing it for like performance reasons because I felt like it slowed everything. I have crazy ADHD, right? So I was always on Adderall, but Adderall doesn't do to me what it would do to somebody else, right? Like I'll take an Adderall and I can go take a nap, or I could take an Adderall and I can go do an assignment that like I need to read and focus on, or I could take an Adderall and go learn football plays and just take it to the field. So for me, my brainwaves are all over the place, and then the Adderall like kind of evens it out. I don't abuse it, but I take it like as necessary because I didn't start taking it until I was in college. And I went from like failing my freshman year to Dean's List.
Wow.
Because it like allowed me to do shit that I don't want to do. That's basically what it is. When you have ADHD, you have this ability to like, if you're interested in something, you're going to be great at it. But if you don't like doing something, if it's like not interesting to you, it is like fucking torture to try to do it. It is fucking torture. Like if you don't like doing it, you're just like, well, it's torture. You hate it. You hate every second of it, and you're miserable while you're doing it. But then the Adderall like levels you out and it allows you to like, it doesn't become overwhelming. You can just do it, whereas like people that don't have it, it like lets them stay up all night or whatever, But like I said, I could take my Adderall and go take a nap. But when I found microdosing, I found that in like 2014. I was like, okay. Cause I did a couple like hero trips on mushrooms. I was like, this shit is holy shit. Like it really like opened I was like, everything
Did it help you deal with some of the childhood trauma stuff?
Yeah. Like it was just like, give me a different perspective on things. Right. It allowed me to like see things from like a different point of view, really. And then it also like slowed my thoughts down. Not my thoughts. It slowed everything around me down, but it didn't slow me down. That's why I really didn't like smoking weed, because it slowed me down. And I understand why guys like that, because they just need to slow down for a minute and like kind of de-stress. And I would do that every now and then during the season, just to like, chill out, smoke a little bit of weed and just chill out at night and get some sleep, help with the pain a little bit. Cause I won't take opioids or any of that shit either.
That's good.
And I don't take a lot of anti-inflammatories, because it tears my stomach up. And I didn't like that. So cause I was already taking Toradol.
Yeah.
So that's enough. I don't need to put anything else in me. So yeah, I found the microdosing to like, so I started taking it, but when I would train, I'll do just little bit of it when I go train. And I'm like, dude, I'm like not getting tired. Or like when I am, I'm just like able to ignore it. And then like everything is around me is slowed down, but I'm still moving fast. Like if I was doing drills, I just was like, holy shit. Like I feel like I'm moving way faster than all this. And then like when I would work hand fighting drills, or I always trained striking, from day one, when I got to the league, I was like, I need to train striking because that's pass rushing. It's creating angles on people and using your hands, hand and foot. Because when you run opposite. But when you strike, it's same hand, same foot. That's pass rushing.
Yeah.
You have to run and you have to transition to same hand, same foot to like create those angles. And dude, it just slowed everything down for me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this in practice. So then I tried it in practice and I was like, oh shit. Like I'd come off the ball and I could like see their hands in slow motion and I could like grab them and like move and like I could feel it was just a little microdose. I didn't even really feel it, but I just felt it. I felt it happening.
It was a focus that was happening.
Yeah, it was this certain kind of focus. Excuse me. So then when I get to games and start doing it in games, dude, I would like remember that backfield set from watching film and be like, oh fuck, I know a play's coming. And I would just go make the play. And I'm like,
Well, that kind of cleared.
I was like, dude, it would slow everything down.
Yeah.
Like everything slowed down for me.
It almost seemed like pulling towards the front, what you really need at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was just unbelievable. It's hard to explain to people that haven't done it because I try to talk about like when you watch a play happen, it's like that.
Yep.
That ball, the quarterback is throwing the ball under 3 seconds. So to get a sack, you got to get there in under 3 seconds. And there's 2 to 3 dudes trying to fucking stop you from getting there, So I would just like, there was plays where I'm like, I'm going to make this play no matter what. Like, no matter what happens, I'm making the play. Like, I came off the ball against the Patriots one time. We were in overtime. And I grabbed the guard and threw him like over the tackle's legs because the tackle came down to block me too because Vaughn dropped when he wasn't supposed to drop. And I threw him over the tackle's legs and he tripped him and they both fell. So it looks like I just plowed him both over. But what I saw was his legs there and I was like, I'm going to push him over his legs.
using his leverage. Yeah.
And I did it real fast. Like it happened quick. And somehow I processed it that quick. But in my head, the way it was happening was like, even to this day, when I think about it, it was so slow.
Yeah.
The way it happened, like I came off the ball and I was like, oh, I'm gonna push him over here. Then I was like, I see Tom Brady. I grab him by the jersey, pull him down and let him go. And then I grab his legs. And then it's a sack. And I'm like, holy shit, how did I just do that?
But it happened like that.
But when you watch it on film, it's like, boom, 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 like done. But in the moment, it was so slow. And the best way to explain it to people, I call it the flow state. So when you get in like a flow state, it's where everything is just happening and you're just not even thinking. You're just doing and reacting. And that's what it would help me get to is that flow state. And, I like to play angry. You have to. So it would allow me to like really tap into that anger and just get fucking.
Well, and channel it too, because sometimes uncontrolled anger
it's not good.
It's terrible.
Yeah, you snap and you fucking lose your mind and you're uncontrollable.
So all the trading you went through.
Yeah, you have to be able to control that rage. And I was able to like tap into the rage and control it and just like unleash it on certain times. Like, okay. And then I could like reel it back in, and then do it the next play and then reel it back in, but it is exhausting, because I'd get done in games and I would be more mentally tired than I was physically.
Yep.
I was so tired mentally because I was tapping into that real dark, rage.
Going deep.
Yeah, going deep and getting mad and angry and like, I would mentally be just like drained. And then you gotta, you get one day off and then you gotta go do it again. You gotta get ready.
For now, how do you feel as a player about just continuing to extend the season?
I mean, if you're going to extend the season, I mean, the guys, they're extending, the contracts are getting bigger. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think that I thought 16 games was enough.
That's kind of where I was at.
When we played 17, I was like, this is kind of a lot, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're not looking out for guys. They don't care about the guys in the trenches. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all about the quarterback. They got to protect the quarterback and the guy to score touchdowns. So it doesn't matter.
You got to feed the marketing machine.
Yeah, that's exactly.
The marketing machine.
And that's why like, the fantasy football thing is all bullshit, because it's not all bullshit, but I'm saying it's bullshit for a defensive player because you don't get that same opportunity that those guys do.
Yeah.
The marketing opportunities.
People don't realize the little stuff, the jersey sales, all that stuff that comes from having.
Shit matters, man. Yeah. Shit matters. And then when it comes time to get like an endorsement from somebody, it's like, oh, well, you don't really need another white guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't score touchdowns.
Right. Yeah.
Or, we don't need a guy that just like, we just don't need you. Yeah. And it's like, well, fuck. Yeah. It sucks. But it was whatever. The other thing about me when I played is I wouldn't play the game inside the game as far as like kissing ass and conforming to their bullshit, their ideology, their woke ideology. It started in 2016. I was like, I am not going to fucking kneel. I kneel to no man. I'm going to stand proud for my country. Like, I'm proud to be an American. I really am, because what other country can you grow up poor white trash and then make it? All these other people, there's a reason why they want to come here. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for it. Why do you think you're fucking coming here? Why do you hate it? Why do people hate America so much? First of all, if they hate us, it's because they ain't us.
Yeah.
But If you live here and you hate us, it's because you've been indoctrinated and manipulated into thinking that we have that we're systematically racist and all this other bullshit. Imperfect as we are, the idea of America is greater than any other country out there. And then the striving to be better country all the time, that's why I love America. So I wouldn't conform to that shit. And that I lost a lot of endorsement opportunities because of it, because I wouldn't do it. And then you go fast forward to COVID when I was like, I won't get a fucking vaccine. I won't do it. No. And they're like, well, why not? And I'm like, well, because it's fucking bullshit. That's why, because
My body, my choice.
it's my body, my choice. It's okay, not to be, crude, but it's okay for you to, to have an abortion. And I'm supposed to be okay with that. But I don't want to get some experimental drug shot into my arm. And now there's a problem. Now I'm a murderer.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on here? What delusion are we living in?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it. And, I stood strong by my beliefs, and I did it. I lost a lot. Like, I'm not going to sell my soul for money. I won't do it. I don't care how much money it is. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sell my soul for money. It's just money. Like, at the end of the day. And there's only one judge that's going to matter. There's only one judge that's really going to matter at the end of the day. And when I really started realizing that was when I started looking into like near-death experiences, and seeing what these people were like experiencing in their, it's people that don't even believe in Christianity, don't even come from that kind of belief. They come from like Buddhism and all this other, people from completely different countries having a near-death experience, and they're seeing the kingdom of God, and they're being judged on the life that they lived. And it's, are you willing to give your faith and believe in God and love? Because that's what, what I found is that like, he's not judging you. He just wants you to love him. He wants your love. And it's a religion based on love. And man has taken, all religion can be used to control, right? And that's like man's fault, is that, we see opportunity and we're opportunistic beings, right?
Yep.
So that Christianity as a whole, and like I said, dude, I don't go to church. I don't do any of that stuff, but like my faith is very strong right now because what I see around me. I see them mocking God and the Olympics. I see them mocking him.
Yeah.
I see them, all these things that are happening in the world today just shows me he's still here. He still cares. There's a reason that Donald Trump was saved. Like, I'm not trying to say he's like a messiah or any of that shit. I'm just saying that God recognizes that there's one person right now who can, because I think God loves the idea of America, the idea of free will, the idea of
prospering,
being able to believe in what you want to believe in, and being able to be who you want to be, love who you want to love. I think God supports all that. My God does, at least. I don't think God wants you to be miserable, and wants you to live in the darkness and be scared and hide, but I do think he wants you to show some self-control.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's happening, is like, there's no self-control. You want to be a fucking weirdo and dress up in a dress and everything. I'm just saying weirdo, but like that's a kink. That's not for the public. Right? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, why are we putting this out there for everybody to see? And why are you trying to push that on my kids?
Yes.
Why?
I understand.
Like, if you want to do that, great, go, go ahead, do your thing, whatever you want to do, but do that shit in private, like,
it doesn't have to become,
exactly. Like, we don't have to like parade it around. Like, it's not, I don't parade my straightness around. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something that is warranted even, I don't think that you need to do that, but whatever, I do believe that you should be able to live your life how you want to live it.
Absolutely.
And do it like whatever you want to love, you can love, as long as you're not hurting someone. But that means, if you're a fucking pedophile, then I think we should publicly execute you.
Right.
So I'm pretty extreme on that, because I think if you're willing to hurt a child, you are evil.
Yeah.
So we should kill you in public, and that maybe will deter these fuckers from doing this shit. Like, maybe they'll show some self-control and not let the devil, because I think it's evil. That is just evil.
You're
finds weakness.
ruining someone's life. The rest of
You're ruining their life. and you're creating
selfishly, 100% for 100% selfish reasons.
ruining their life for the rest of their life. They are going to be fucked up from that, and just because you couldn't control yourself. So I believe that we should fucking kill these people. Like we should wipe them out. Like they should be, or castrate them. Do something. Like we got to get them out of here.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why the prison system's kind of always been, kind of does a little bit of self-policing when it comes to that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's tough times, and I do feel like getting back to some of those, core family values will help with a lot of direction of just getting the country back on track overall. Like you kind of said earlier, just get back to just being good people and loving and respecting each other. We don't have to agree with everything, but just respect each other's opinion and where they're coming from.
Well, that's what being American is.
Yeah.
Is having different beliefs.
Yep.
Having a disagreement, but also agreeing that we're both Americans and we're neighbors. We're still neighbors. You know what I mean? Like,
and love thy neighbor.
You should love thy neighbor, right? You should like your neighbor. Think about it this way: like, how many times do you see a video of somebody just like getting their ass whipped in public, and everybody's standing around with a goddamn
12 phones and not doing shit.
Everybody's standing on the phone watching it and not doing anything, not protecting. And then you see somebody protect a woman on a subway, and they toss his ass in prison.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's so clear to me that it is good versus evil right now, because evil is prevailing. Evil is truly prevailing in our country right now, and they're just allowing all of this madness to happen, and Trump says all the time, he's like, look, we're not getting their best and brightest from these other countries. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela's crime rate has gone down 70%.
They shipped them all over here?
Because they shipped all their fucking psychos over here. They were like, oh, go get out. Open borders, go on, here, we're going to send you up here.
Land of prosper, go.
Land of prosper, go up there and do something. And that's why you're like, well, why are people are shocked, because they're like, why are these like rapes happening and these robberies and murders and all this shit? Why are these happening? It's because we're not getting, it's not like back in the day when it was like all the Irish people were coming over here and trying to find work.
On work visa.
Yeah. It's not, they try to paint it as like, oh, it's a bunch of Mexicans that just want to come over here and work hard. That's not what's happening. I'm all for it. If you want to come to this country and you want to work hard and earn it, I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
Like, I support the shit out of that. Like, I'm 1000% with it. We need it. Because you know why? There's a lot of lazy motherfuckers and entitled over here that don't want to do it. So come on over.
Yep.
Come on over here and do it. But if you want to come over here and cause chaos, you got to go.
Yep.
Let's just
pillage our resources.
You're pillaging resources. Setting, like in Denver, they set up a damn homeless encampment and put out a list of demands. Demands? Motherfucker, look, we don't make a catapult and just fucking launch your ass into the ocean somewhere. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Demand? They wanted fresh, culturally appropriate food for free. They wanted hot showers with no time limits. They wanted housing. So they wanted to like free housing. And then they also didn't want any police there because they're not criminals. If you're saying you don't want police there, then you are a fucking criminal. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I bet you are. But and listen, I'm the first one to tell you, when I get pulled over by a cop, I'm nervous as fuck, because I'm like, I'm definitely probably doing something I shouldn't be doing right now.
Yep.
Right? Like something's going on.
Just called to check on my day.
Yeah. Like when I haven't just they're not just like, hey, how you doing there?
Hey man, how's that new truck running there?
Yeah, they're coming over there because you're doing something wrong, right? And it's like, fuck, So I understand like not wanting the cops around, but at the same time, I really think that like defunding the police is one of the worst.
Oh, it's terrible.
I think that you should put more funding into like training them better.
Yep.
Because now with the defunding of it, you're not getting the best and brightest doing it.
No.
You're getting guys that have no other option, and that's why you're seeing all this shit happen. You're seeing it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of cops out there that are undertrained, understaffed, and you might be getting like guys that are, you already had those few guys that probably got bullied in high school, and now they had some power, so they're going to be assholes. You're just going to get that even 10 times worse, because they don't get paid shit. They don't get paid enough to go do the shit they're doing.
And used to a lot of guys like, our buddies that had dads that were cops growing up, like, yeah, they got paid like shit, but at least they could be like, they felt they at least were respected.
Right.
The community, there's a certain intrinsic value that's not money that came from that profession, of where you would still do it, right? Because I'm respected. I'm giving back to this community. I'm a part of it. Well, when you take that away, like we have with, defunding and everything else, you make it almost like I don't want to call it a sin, but it's no longer a big respect.
They don't respect police.
And that to me is very sad. That's probably one of the worst parts of it.
It is sad. I mean, you got immigrants in New York City just attacking cops and then nothing happens to them.
Well,
So it's, we're talking about dudes that like put their life on the line every fucking day,
in the most dangerous cities in the world.
and you're not going to respect them. And then if they make a mistake, you're going to toss them in prison.
Yeah.
You're going to prosecute them to the fullest. Like, I don't understand what that thought process. I don't understand.
I agree.
Like, I understand that there needs to be like reform and we should do better, right? We should always be trying to do better,
Absolutely.
whatever it is. But for every one bad cop, there's probably 20 good ones that are awesome humans, like that are great guys that want to see you succeed and want to see you like, do the best you can and don't want to get you in trouble. And we'll let you off on like little dumb shit. And, but at the same time, if you're like a known fucking criminal and you're always fucking around, at some point they're going to stop letting you go.
Yeah.
And you're going to get in the wrong position. You're going to pull a gun. You're going to get fucking shot.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is when they tell you to stop, you stop. They tell you to get your ass down, you get down. Like, all I know is like, if you just like treat them with respect in any interaction, they usually find the same respect for it.
9% of the time.
Like, every time I've like had an attitude with a cop, I got a fucking attitude right back. But every time I was nice, I got treated with respect. And I always got put in cuffs because I'm just too damn big. So you're too big to be fucking around with. Like, we're gonna put your ass in cuffs. I don't care what the situation was. We're gonna put you in cuffs and just chill out for a minute and sit down. Let's figure out what's going on. All right. And then I would just, as long as I kept my cool about it, it was like good. But every time I started getting an attitude, all right, come on, let's get in the fucking car then.
Yep.
They'll put you in a car. And then, if you keep it up, like, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse for you. So it's just the way it goes. Like, you just have to comply and deal with it for a minute, and then they'll let you go, or they're going to take your ass to jail. It's like one or the other. That's just you have to live by the laws. The laws are the laws for a reason, right? Like, you have rights as an American. You don't have to let them search anything.
Right.
You don't have to speak without a lawyer present. Like, you don't have to do shit. Right. So if that's what you want to do, then do that.
Right. It's your right.
But you don't have to fucking freak out and throw a fit.
Just be respectful about it.
Exactly.
I'm exercising this right, sir. And go on. And I think that's a great way to kind of wrap up the discussion is, it's pretty simple. We've talked about a lot of things, but give respect and get respect.
Well, yeah, respect is earned, it's earned by giving respect. If I show you respect, you'll show me respect.
Yeah.
And that's, we've all dealt with it where we met somebody and we had like already people were like, oh, that guy's this and that, and they have but I don't judge somebody on what somebody else thought about him, because there's two sides to every story.
Create your own
Maybe he was a dick to you because you were a dick to him.
Yep.
Maybe that's what was going on. So I always like, I'm going to respect you until you give me a reason not to.
Yeah.
And then, it is what it is.
Man, a couple things I want to hit on before we wrap up for people to be able to obviously keep up with you. Still doing the Untamed Wolfe podcast?
Yeah. Well, Wolfe Untamed podcast. We actually we did a revamp with that. Ironclad is producing now.
Okay.
So we got some really cool episodes that are about to drop. I got a couple with Peyton, Tim Kennedy, John Wade Walding.
Yep.
Some really good ones.
Awesome.
And that's good. You can check that on YouTube, Wolfe Untamed, or you can, I'm going to put those all on X as well.
Okay.
Because they won't monitor, they won't like, flag it for any bullshit that gets said on there. And then you can also check it out on my website, derekwolfe.com. And then my hunting channel is the same channel, the Wolfe Untamed channel. So all my hunting adventures and everything, I put those all out. We just did season 2 of that and dropped. So this year we got some really cool hunts coming up. We have, I'm doing a BC mountain goat hunt.
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 elk hunts, a mule deer, 2 whitetail, and then another mule deer in January. So yeah, we got some cool stuff coming up, and yeah, check it out. You can follow me on Instagram, Derek Wolfe _95. Sometimes they like to shadow ban me because I'm very outspoken about my beliefs. And
understood.
So they'll shadow ban me. So you'll probably have to type in the whole thing to find me. It won't just pop up right away, which is crazy. And then you can find me on Twitter or on X at Derek _Wolfe95. So
awesome.
So check it out.
Brother. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me there, man.
Yeah.
Always good to catch up. Guys, this has been an awesome trip out here to Onyx. Thanks so much to Trevor, Terrence, Justin, Luke, the whole crew for being so amazing, letting us have this amazing weekend. Hope you've enjoyed the interviews and discussions as much as I have. Catch you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Old Boy Podcast. Please subscribe, like, set your notifications, whatever you got to do to make sure you're getting the latest episodes. Also, feel free to go back, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Get some of the past episodes, check those out, and always feel free to check out our socials, Old Boy Podcast. Thank you so much.